I'm Whitney Belker with Miami's Global Connection. Our show is sponsored by the Greater Miami chapter of the United Nations Association, otherwise known as the UNA. The UNA is dedicated to promoting the ideals of democracy, trade, education, healthcare, human rights, and peacekeeping. Our show is designed to raise public awareness of the global and interdependent world in which we live. We focus on leaders who are involved in diverse international issues and projects. Today we will discuss social entrepreneurship and the amazing stories of how entrepreneurs identify and solve many large-scale social problems around the globe. Our guest is Alberto Echegaray, Director of Latin America Partnerships for Ashoka. Ashoka is a global nonprofit organization working with 1,400 social entrepreneurs in 48 countries around the globe. Ashoka invests in extraordinary individuals with unprecedented ideas for change in our communities. But most important, Ashoka identifies and invests in these social entrepreneurs when no one else will. For those of you who are not familiar with the term social entrepreneurship, just think of the amazing individuals such as Susan B. Anthony and her fight for women's rights, or perhaps Mary Montessori, who developed schools for early childhood education programs, or even Ralph Nader and his continued fight for consumer rights. Thank you so much for being here today, Alberto.
Thanks a lot for inviting me to Miami, to this great city.
And Alberto, you're originally from Venezuela, but lived in Argentina, and now you're based in Washington, but covering Ashoka Latin America.
Yeah, that's right. And we're covering 15 countries right now in Latin America, working in all the region, looking for outstanding social entrepreneurs.
Well, explain a little bit more about what is Ashoka and what does social entrepreneurship really mean?
Okay. Ashoka is a non-for-profit organization that is in 48 countries all over the world.
A non-for-profit organization.
Yeah, non-for-profit organization in 48 countries all over the world. What we do is to seek the most outstanding and extraordinary people in the social sector with the most creative ideas.
And what are the fields that you consider the social sector or the goals? I think you mentioned learning, education. What are the
We're open to different fields in the social sector, but our primary fields are education, health, civic participation, economic development, and human rights.
Fantastic. Mm-hmm. Wow. So what is your primary function with Ashoka right now?
Well, right now I'm making fundraising, also marketing strategy for the organization. It is very important, to define what is a social entrepreneur.
Well, what is the selection process for becoming a social entrepreneur and an Ashoka fellow?
Well, first of all, a social entrepreneur is like a business entrepreneur. It has the same. We say that they have both the same DNA. They have the same driven vision, the perseverance to
perseverance, right?
Perseverance, and they are defined as the same DNA, but with different objectives. One is seeking profit, the business entrepreneur, and the social entrepreneur is seeking a social impact in their society.
We have a video that might be able to explain a little further to our audience what a social entrepreneurship is really about, and some of the projects that Ashoka has been sponsoring in several countries around the world. Perhaps we can bring that up. I think that would give the audience a better idea.
I had a dream. I saw our poor youth using computers and find solutions for their problems through the computers. People said, Rodrigo, you are crazy, because poor people have the mind of poor people and they never can use the computers. I started an organization called CDI, Committee for Democracy Information Technology. I created the first school inside a favela in a ghetto in Rio de Janeiro. We have partnerships with companies and international foundations that give money, computers, and technical skills. We have 106 CDI schools in 17 Brazilian states. Over 50,000 poor youth learn information technology with us. Our goal is to include poor youth in the digital era. We show another way of life. They don't need crime. They find jobs and they change their behavior. CDI is my passion. Every day I realize my dream. I love my work.
We are fighting against centuries-old problem. Hundreds of thousands of children are used as slave laborers. They were considered and treated worse than animals. I realized that somebody has to take initiative. Somebody has to speak out. Each time I went to rescue children, it was really challenging. It was hard. 2 of my colleagues were shot dead. I was attacked several times. But we have to go and keep on rescuing those children. Each time I bring a child to a mother back home, each time I feel more strong. We have freed tens of thousands of child bonded laborers in past 20 years. I am very confident that the slavery has to go in my lifetime.
A woman came to me for a job and I turned her away because she had a small child, and that started haunting me. I realized that these women need child care facility to keep their job. So I started Fulki. Fulki is a Bengali word. It means spark, the spark of a new idea. My 2 sons gave me their first paycheck, and with that I started First Day Care Center. The best thing about this project is the employer is allowing their workers to come and breastfeed their children 2-3 times in a day. Childcare facilities reduce the absenteeism, they can retain their skilled worker, and migration is also declined. In government sector alone, 1.2 million women are working. Since Fulki started, we are providing childcare facilities to 18 factories. My dream is that all the 2,500 garments factory will have a daycare facility.
After the fall of communism in Poland, many people found the free market difficult. They lost their homes, their livelihood, everything. I saw a solution in creating self-help homes, communities in which people help themselves. The state sold us this derelict house for a token sum. We call it Barka, like the Ark, but it carries the unwanted, those left behind, the homeless, the alcoholics, mental patients, whole families with nowhere to go. All who come are given work, in the kitchen, driving, building, on the farm. They all feel needed. We gave these people the will to live. Barka has 20 houses, 500 residents, and another 2,000 people come to us for work. My wife and I would like to export the idea of Barka across Europe, so more people can learn to help themselves.
When I grew up in poverty on a rural back road in Vermont, family violence was a common occurrence. The day came when another child in my family had been abused, and it was at that point in time when I realized to stop the generational cycle of abuse, I needed to become a lawyer. For 15 years, Harold and I were over-the-road truck drivers. Now what I do is combine the 3 things that I know best: trucking, the law, and family violence. Have Justice Will Travel is my mobile law center. It's me, my laptop, and my car. It is very difficult for women to come forward when they have been abused. They feel ashamed of what has happened to them. When they try to reach out from the isolation that they live in, I can go and sit in their kitchens where they're comfortable and talk with them as a peer. In the 2 years that I've been in practice, I've helped 40 women get out of abusive situations. My journey will not end.